Welcome to On Ice, the show about the show. Today, we're talking about Lost, Season 6, Episodes 14 and 15. I'm Will. Also here is Ben, and you can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every week that can be found over at patreon.com/drskeleton. Ben, I didn't realize how close to the end of the show we are.
Oh, yeah. But except
We're basically there.
I don't know what's left because now I am so paranoid because I'm not really remembering stuff as much anymore. I know I think I watched these. I know I got to the final 2 episodes or whatever, but I'm too scared to look up even a simple question about Lost out of fear that I will spoil the ending or something like that. So even how many episodes are in season 6 of Lost? I haven't dared look up.
Okay.
How many do we have left?
We have one more podcast record left.
Oh, wow.
Next week you'll see it through the end. So there's like I think it's a split finale again. And so in addition to that, there's one more episode. So I think we're just gonna watch
all of them.
We're gonna watch like 3 hours worth of Lost for next week. And that's gonna be the end.
Nice.
It snuck up on me, honestly. I'm not really sure how to feel. I feel like I should be like more aware of the end, or more I don't know. It should be like more ceremonial or something. It's like kind of a big deal. We spent a whole year doing this so far.
Yeah, we did. Hopefully, there's no nuclear war that breaks out in the next week that prevents us from seeing these two. Also,
I don't see that happening. We're recording this way ahead of time, by the way.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, nothing in the news suggests that there might be imminent nuclear war. But if there is, maybe we'll be exposed to high amounts of electromagnetic radiation that will allow us to travel back in time just enough to watch the end of our television program.
There we go.
And that's really what's important. How does it feel to be this close to kind of like we're at the point where probably you stopped last time.
Yeah.
We're equally caught up for the first time.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. To be honest, I really didn't remember like almost anything from these 2 episodes, a little bit more from the first one we're going to talk about. I vaguely remember the concept of like the second one too, but like I'm pretty much, it's pretty much new to me still too. But yeah, I don't know what to say about approaching the end though. Again, because I don't really know what episode I'm on, even though we say the number every week. I guess I don't know what episode.
And I did just tell you. So how do you feel now? Now that you know that
well, now I feel, but now I don't know. It's very new news.
Okay. Maybe we can both process throughout the recording of this one. So let's get into it. Let's talk about Season 6, Episode 14, called The Candidate. It aired May 4th, 2010. It was directed by Jack Bender and written by Elizabeth Sarnoff and Jim Galasso. In 2004, the Flash Sideways timeline, we begin. After being successfully operated on by Jack Shephard, John Locke awakens at the hospital. Jack says Locke may be a candidate for a new surgical treatment to repair his pre-existing paralysis and asks how he wound up in his paraplegic state. However, Locke declines the offer. Jack makes some really strong promises to John Locke about being able to walk again in like I would say like irresponsible manner.
As doctors ourselves, I would say it's breaking the code that we all signed.
That's breaking the code there.
It's breaking the code, the doctor code. Yeah, I feel like the doctor code is supposed to be, how do you say it? Low promises.
Under promise, over deliver.
Under promise, over deliver. Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Generally, that's how I do life. Gotta say too. Under promise, over deliver.
I just noticed that Ben has
A picture
the
of myself
magazine
on
with
the
his
ground.
face on the
Yeah.
in your background.
Got it too. I was gonna ask you if you could crop it out.
Now we'll be zooming in
No.
on that the entire time.
No, do not dox me.
Okay. All right, I won't dox you, but just know that Ben's Playboy cover is in the background right there. But yeah, no, Jack is making some it's very funny though. Anytime you're going on your thing, I'm gonna be just looking at that little magazine cover and seeing the little smiling face.
It's not, folks. I'm hoping you can't see it right now.
You can't see it. I'll make sure you can't see it.
Okay. It's not a Playboy cover. It's a university magazine cover that they put me on the cover of. Wearing, once again, roughly the same clothes that I'm wearing right now. They're not the same. Pretty much.
Sports
though.
Illustrated College Student Edition. That's what
Yeah.
you graced the cover of this year.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. The 10 sexiest co-eds of 2025. Number 1, Ben. Okay, but yeah, you can't be telling your patient that like I can make sure that you'll walk again for sure, man.
Yeah.
And that's what Jack is doing this whole
He also
episode.
says, I can fix you, which I feel like not the way to say it as well.
Yeah,
I feel like you're
another
not supposed to
disability
say
reading of this. Yeah, don't.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Just
yeah,
kinda weird.
very, very, very much. Yeah, you can't just be like,
You're
well, yeah,
busted, but I can fix
right.
it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's like in keeping with his character that he needs something to fix, but you shouldn't. But as a doctor, I can see why they did it for his character, but you shouldn't be talking like that to your patients. Like,
Putting your hand on their shoulder and leaning in and saying, you don't have to be like this.
And he doesn't take no for an answer, because in order to find out more about Locke's paralysis, Jack visits dentist Dr. Bernard Nadler, who is fun to see.
Yep. He's just drilling away at one of those tooth mold things. Gotta say, my dad had a lot. My dad
Freehanding.
had a lot of those as well at home. Also a dentist.
Is that what? Okay. Was he? He was a serial killer. He had a lot of those like teeth laying around. Did
I don't think he was freehanding it. No.
Okay.
I think the stuff that he's doing below is like the stuff that's just, it's not really your mouth, That's like if you go up to, Statue of David or whatever, and you're just kind of like rounding the corners of the box that he's standing on at the bottom,
Okay.
That kind of situation.
Oh,
That's
you
what-
mean the statue of the guy with the biggest dick in history?
Yep.
So Dr. Burnett, okay, can I get more than just a yup on that?
I don't know what to say.
Okay. Fine. Jack visits Dr. Bernard Nadler and asks for the dental records from an emergency oral surgery performed on Locke about 3 years previously.
Didn't make sense.
He
This
want-
part didn't make sense. You go into somebody's doctor to find out about how they got in a wheelchair? I don't understand.
the
I didn't
dentist?
quite
Yeah.
understand it. Why would you go to the other doctor? In a hospital. Why would you go to the dentist?
Yeah, presumably he went to the hospital when he got paralyzed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
He didn't go to the dentist. Maybe he did first.
Well, he did, though.
Well, he
for
did go to the
something.
dentist, but why would you go there first? Maybe he just thought disrespectfully to dentists that it'd be easier to convince a dentist to break the Hippocratic Oath or whatever.
I think that's actually it.
Okay.
That's a good reading of Jack's character, I think, a little bit, where I like that a lot, actually. Yeah. Jack likes to sort of feign humility a little bit, but he's also like, I'm kind of like the man when it comes to surgery, though. He kind of has that, like, he snaps into place, and he's very like threatened by his father, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. And so he likes to put on the face of like, oh, I'm just little old me. He wouldn't say I'm the man himself, but like I think he casually dropped it like, yeah, I work at what's the name of it? The hospital he works at is like worked at St. Thomas or something.
Yeah.
Pause for effect. As their head surgeon. And I was wondering if you could help me with something. Help me with a little project.
Little John Hamm to Richard Jewell type situation.
Yes.
Going on.
Yes. Yeah.
Sorry to tell you, Bernard, you are the Richard Jewell of this TV show.
I mean, congratulations to you. You stood by your principles.
I guess so. Sure.
You railroaded. Yeah.
But yeah. As a fellow doctor, with your fingers crossed behind your back.
But yeah, there's also another funny part of this interaction though, because Bernard does recognize Jack. He says, "You were flirting with my wife on the plane."
Yeah.
And then he immediately says, "Maybe you're onto something here." Frankly, it's doing something for me. Here's my room key. But there's a lot of like weird, the weird like we're all kind of running into each other here. Everybody on this on this flight. But yeah, the call back to the flight and I guess I forgot that Bernard was there because his only like part of it was to exit the bathroom and be like, "Whoa, that sure got everywhere." Basically.
Yeah.
And so Bernard refuses to breach confidentiality, but says that someone named Anthony Cooper was brought in along with Locke that day. Which, like, okay, I think just don't tell him anything about it, I guess, right? Or like that kind of.
I mean, maybe that's a loophole.
Because he wasn't technically his patient, that you can just say whatever. Like, well, his car isn't my patient, so I can tell you what his license plate was. Anyway.
Yes, I don't know. Yeah, I can't tell you what I can't tell you what I did to that guy, but I can tell you that I threw away a bloody PlayStation controller that same day.
Sounds like it's supposed to be obvious what happened with that. I'm not sure. I have tried to get people. I've tried to get people to. I've tried to be creative with the law in the past myself. Don't worry, it was unsuccessful, so I don't think I'm going to be incriminating myself here. But when we were selling our house, I asked the lawyer. The lawyer said, like, okay, you've got two offers on your house. You got one for this amount of money, one for this amount of money. Full disclosure, I am representing the person with the higher offer in this case. And so I can't give you like the full like legal, like the full kind of like strategic counsel that I could because I can't like, I don't know. I still need to represent the other person. And so I tried to, I tried this tactic. I said, okay, and follow me on this hypothetical. Imagine there's a third offer that is identical in every way to the one with the higher amount here, with the exception that you do not represent that person. What would you and we want to go with that one. What would you recommend we counter with? And she's like, I'm not doing that. We're not.
Nice. That's a
Well,
good. That's a good one.
I thought that was pretty good. And so I was
Yeah.
like, Will, stop.
I mean, it does basically simplify down to what if you imagine you weren't under any obligation to your,
Right.
your
Yeah.
person.
All right, we live in the United States of Bumerica, where you're not actually obligated to represent your your other client fairly, but all other rules are exactly the same.
Your Honor, I'm a traveler.
You're right. She talked us down to give a cool to sell it for a song. We got really worked over. Okay, so what back to Lost? Jack, I'm not sure what Jack is expecting to get out of this, but he goes to visit Anthony Cooper, who is in a nursing home and is Locke's father in a vegetative state. Like I truly don't know. Like, was he gonna like? Even if he, why does Jack need to know why he was in this or what happened to?
Because he wants. I think he thinks he can convince him, and it's because he needs to help people. I mean, that's what it comes down to, right?
Sure. I guess. Oh, so it's not like necessarily informing like a medical course of action. It's more him because like I think he has all the medical information he needs, probably from like X-raying his back or something.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
I think so. Yeah. Maybe I think he just wants to please himself and try to understand at a deeper level why might this Locke guy not want my help.
Mm-hmm. So this isn't the last person to talk to. Locke sees Cooper. There's nothing going on with him, and Jack doesn't really get anything from seeing him because he's in a vegetative state. And Claire Littleton arrives at the hospital to see Jack. She shows him a music box that their father especially wanted her to have. Jack then invites Claire to stay at his house, as they are not strangers, but rather family. What do you make of the music box? What's that about?
I mean, I've been thinking about this since I watched it, but I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer at this point. And I'm really striking out on ideas. Apologies if there's a really obvious one.
No, I mean, I think that like everything that's happening in especially these final handful of episodes, like because it's so close to the end, I'm like really looking at it with like, okay, there must be some, strong sense of significance here. I think there's some amount of just like, okay, we got to wrap up one story or another, but look, we got this really extended like Jack versus Locke like ideological thing going on in this like third to last episode, essentially. Mm-hmm. That I'm trying to think that like if you just read on the surface, you're like, why are they spending all of this time like, okay, yeah, Jack's on one last like a mission to like he's being headstrong again. Like, okay, yeah. But I think that, I think it's much more allegorical than that. And then the same thing has to be going on here with Claire and Jack and the box. Okay, so we got, in the previous episode, Jack telling his kid that like, okay, I guess there's a lot about your grandfather we didn't know. Like, I think we're talking about like, if not deception, that seems like more. Still to this point, I'm still like cutting Christian slack, I guess, for having a secret family, but just because he's swaggy, I suppose. But there's this, unseen side to things that you're questioning your own legacy, questioning what brought you to this point. And I think that there's something in a mysterious gift that happens. I think that at some point Ben describes to Locke like imagine a box and anything that you can desire is in that box. That's what the island is. And we see like a mysterious box here at the end of the show that's given by Jack's father to Claire, I guess Claire's father to Claire. And it's a confusing gift. And the show itself is a bit of a confusing gift. I think that like sometimes you just have to try to look for the meaning in what you come across. Maybe there's some of that.
I guess. Yeah. It's weird. It was a weird interaction though, too. Jack's kind of like, let me take a look at that. And then looks at it for like,
give me that
5 seconds and is like, Wow, I wish I knew what this was. Here you go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You gotta give up.
There's another weird part of the interaction too, where they realize that they were on the same flight. And I know that Jack has been running into some people who are like he's been having like his flight number like drill into his head a few extra times because he like ran into Locke at security, and then he ran into I don't know anybody else. I don't know. I can't remember. But he's maybe been given reason to
Bernard.
Bernard. Nice. Okay, thank you. He's been given reason to like maybe remember his flight number, but it's been like about a week since he and Claire are talking, and
But Claire's
he's like, "Hey, were you on Oceanic Flight 815?" Claire's like, I suppose I was. Like, I don't know if I'd remember my flight number from a week ago if it wasn't like
that's true.
constantly being wrong. I guess maybe it could have been like her only flight she's ever taken. And it's like it's a big deal. Like she's been given these tickets ahead of time, and someone told her Oceanic Flight 815, so maybe it
I guess so.
rings in her head. I don't know.
So I guess if people started saying it to me, then I'd remember. Also, you could probably say any number to me. You're like,
That's the thing, though.
Were you on Delta 5 the other day from Chicago? And I'd be like, I was in Chicago. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
90% of that sounded correct. I'll trust you on the number.
Yeah. I was on United Flight 93. Like that's.
Yeah. And United. Yeah. Sounds good.
Yeah. I think I was flying the plane. As Locke prepares to leave the hospital, Jack tells him that he went to see Cooper to find out why he does not want the surgery. Locke finally reveals, under duress here, that the accident that made him paralyzed was a plane crash, not a ground crash, as we are usually accustomed to. He had just qualified for his pilot's license, and Cooper was his first passenger. Jack tells Locke that Cooper is gone and that punishing himself will not bring him back. Still refusing Jack's offer, Locke leaves. Jack, just drop it, dude. Stop.
Just chill out.
You are way out of line with this. Your dad's gone. Quit feeling sorry for yourself, Wheels. Might as well be saying stuff like that.
Let me do this. I need a test subject for my new thing.
Come on. Come on. Yeah. Anything else to say about the Sideways timeline?
Nope.
Okay. 2007, the original timeline. Jack awakens on Hydra Island with Sayid by his side. I thought maybe this was purposeful misdirection. So we saw that like Jack kind of got like injured in the last episode with the mortar that blew up on the beach, and he's carried away from the site, and he's waking up, and he's just moving from like waist up. I thought maybe we were gonna see that he actually got paralyzed to be in contrast with his B story, but no, he can walk. But he's resting in the canoe. Or the outrigger or whatever. The Man in Black arrives and says that Sawyer, Claire, Kate, Frank Lapidus, Hurley, Sun, and Jin have been taken prisoner by Charles Widmore. And so we get to see that. There's a brief standoff with that group. And it would have been pretty effective, except for we get to see the first time Widmore ever holds a gun in his life, apparently. He's holding it in a very goofy way.
Yeah.
Like, I'll get her if you don't go in those cages. Okay, man. They don't need, but so Jack doesn't, or Sawyer doesn't let them kill Claire because he likes her, but also knows that like they actually don't need her. He saw her name crossed out.
Yeah.
He tells her, "Yeah, you were a candidate. They might just be killing you." And Widmore's like, "If you only knew, I'm actually protecting you." The Man in Black plans to help them escape, run for the Ajira Plain, and leave the island before Widmore knows what's coming. Jack agrees to help, but insists that he himself will not leave the island. Well, Jack, I'd like to be able to convince you otherwise. We can continue. At the Hydra station, Widmore has Sawyer's group thrown inside the animal cages. They're back in those bear cages that we see from season 2?
Yep.
No, 3.
I think later, yeah, 3.
Yeah. Saeed turns off the camp's generator, bringing down the sonar fences, which had been keeping the Man in Black at bay. The Man in Black attacks as the smoke monster, allowing Jack to free Sawyer's group. Reuniting with Saeed, they start heading to the plane. The Man in Black reaches it before the group and inspects its interior after killing Widmore's guards. When the rest of them get there, Lapidus, with his one line per episode mandate, hits him with the, "Alrighty, let's see what it takes this baby to fly." I love Frank. He's the man.
I have no idea what they're going to do with him at this point, It's kind of...
Yeah, you think he's going to make it?
You're kind of stuck with a B character,
Yeah.
But this is
That's a good point.
All-star territory at this point, last couple episodes.
Yeah. Let's see. The Man in Black reveals to the group that Widmore rigged the plane with C4. Unable to take the risk of using the plane, the Man in Black decided to escape using Widmore's submarine. And this felt kind of goofy to me. Just keep checking the plane, I guess. I don't know. You got the plane.
Yeah.
What's to say that the submarine won't also be rigged?
I think the assumption is that the submarine is something that Widmore's people need, so they're not going to risk that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
But yeah, we could just give it
They
another
just gave up on the
once
plane
over.
really quick.
Really quick, yeah. And they were so obsessed with that for a long time.
Yeah. I guess that's more what I'm reacted to. We don't want to just sit here and think about it a little bit. Okay.
Yeah. Though I got to say,
What am I doing? I wish
was-
Lost would spin its wheels a little bit more and wait a while to make a decision. I guess that is what I'm asking.
yeah. I've never been a fan of the plane, though. Gotta say. I've been complaining
it seems
about
like
for
it wouldn't work.
weeks. Doesn't seem like a good idea. How are you going to turn it around? Where are you going to take
I mean,
off?
literally, how are you going to turn it around? You can't take off on a beach.
You're not going to take off. You probably can't take off on a beach. Yeah. Can
Yeah.
you?
I
No,
bet you
don't
can't.
think so.
I bet you can't with a
Bet you can't.
with a big airliner like that.
Yeah.
I bet you can't.
Agreed. Yeah.
Even if it's in perfect working order. Also, I bet you need a bunch of fuel. I bet it doesn't have no fuel.
Well, they got to. Okay.
There's some fuel.
They
have
has
enough-
so-
they
it has
have enough
to
fuel to-
continue the flight. But I don't know how much you spend taking off and stuff like that,
I think you spend.
But they
I
have
don't know
a
why I'm
lot
pretending I
of, they
know
have a lot
about
of
planes.
extra. They do have a lot of extra, though, to be fair. Because you got to, spin around the airport sometimes, fly around in circles and stuff like
That's
that.
true. That's true.
Especially on those long
Okay,
ones.
so they're fine on that. Fine. As they head to the dock, Sawyer asks Jack to stop the Man in Black from getting on board the sub. At the docks, the survivors board the submarine while Widmore's men attack from the jungle. Kate is shot in the shoulder during the ensuing gunfight, but Jack gets her on board after pushing the Man in Black into the water. Gives him a big ol' into the water. Getting out of the
Yeah.
water.
A very funny interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smokey begins to shoot down the last of Widmore's men. To prevent the Man in Black from entering, Sawyer has the sub take off without Claire. Ooh. Gotta feel bad for Claire.
underwater now. Dive. Is that what they say? I think probably dive.
I think they did. Yeah. They seem to dive deep, like
Deep.
instantly.
Red October Deep. Mostly saying that because
Mhm.
I don't have any other reference for a submarine name.
I have
So
a I have a great reference. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
still haven't seen it.
Incredible sub sequence. I was thinking about this whole time. I mean, this was actually a pretty good submarine sequence, all said and done. But there's an all-timer submarine scene in
Okay.
Final Reckoning.
How's it compared to the one in The World Is Not Enough? Do you remember that one? The nuclear submarine that
I don't
flips.
remember it at all.
Okay, so it must be good.
It
Must be
must.
good.
It must.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
I
not
mean,
the
I'm not
one that
saying
has
that's
like
a-
the floating.
It's got the little
base.
bars. You got to put the little nuclear rods into the holes for some reason.
Gosh,
It's got Renard, the guy who doesn't feel stuff. Guess that's not a
Who
very good scene, but I do think of that one
is
too.
Pierce
But I don't-
Brosnan Bond for that?
Yes.
Or is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Wait, so is this the one where like it's like they like change the map so it's accidentally entering in Chinese waters?
No.
Or what's
No.
that?
That's Tomorrow Never Dies.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool. That
that's a good one.
that little trick.
That's a good one.
We change the maps so they think they're safe, but they're actually in Chinese water.
Yeah.
The old make them get closer to China than they meant to trick.
Trick, yeah.
Okay. You should watch The Final Reckoning. It's good. On the sub, Jack discovers the Man in Black has planted C4 in his bag and has set a timer to detonate. Like they're looking for a first aid kit this whole time.
Yep.
We see one right next to Hurley and the captain.
Nice.
Or with Frank and the captain are up by
Frank.
but like it's right there. But
yeah, there would be one on there.
like
It'd be
Hurley
more
comes
likely,
back.
more likely to have one on the ship than there would be to have it in a random backpack that just came off the island.
Yeah, I mean I'm sure Jack did put him in his backpack.
But
but he
yeah,
got
sure.
swapped.
There
But
should be
like
one on deck, on board.
yeah. And they were looking around and we literally see one as viewers. They're like, it's right there. Error. Or maybe you don't see what's right in front of your face the whole time. Maybe the first aid kit was the friends we made along the way.
Maybe there's different rules down there too, Maybe that's not a good first aid kit for
Yeah.
submarine. Maybe you can't touch it. You
Yeah.
know, another James Bond rule about submarines that I always think about is in You Only Live Twice. Do you remember this one? When Sean Connery appears dead, they give him a burial at sea, and then scuba dudes, they dump him off the side of the boat. Scuba dudes come and scoop him up, take him to scoop up his little body in the little underwater burial casket bag thing, take him into a submarine, and then
He has a little breathing
unzip it. He's got a little breathing
going
thing.
in. Yeah.
And then he stands, or no, actually, I think he like salutes at a captain while he's still lying down, and he's like, "Permission to come aboard, sir?" And then the captain's like, "Permission granted." And then he stands up and steps out of the thing. And that's always been embedded in my mind too, of like, I don't know how to put it other than that's a real rule. That's a real thing.
It's like the vampire rule. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's for
basically,
submarines.
yeah. If you ever find yourself in a box and they open the box and you find yourself, now you're not just in a box, but you're in a box in a submarine, you better salute.
Box
or
in a
those
box.
two lucky things will have been to waste. They'll kill you.
Yes.
Something. I don't know what they do next, but kill you. maybe.
Have they done a vampire or submarine movie? I feel like that could be a good combo.
That might
It's
be
kind
a
of.
good
I mean, it's
one,
kind of
yeah.
like Alien, but like submarine. I mean, I guess that's like the Voyage of the Demeter type thing, anyway. Right? But submarine specifically.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I've never seen that.
Vampire submarine.
Nobody thinks about vampires underwater.
That's right. I guess because they can't cross water.
Can they not?
Could be.
Well, this is the
Like they got a new
exception that
vampire.
proves the rule. They can only do it
Yeah.
in submarines. They can't go over
That's
the
right.
water. They can't cross over the water. They can cross through it.
I like that. Oh, well, yeah. I mean, they can get on boats, so they should be able to get on submarines. Okay, maybe I'm
Yeah.
making that up. I thought that there's something about they can't cross running water.
Folks,
Although like
pause.
it's ocean running water.
We're going to have to put a pause on Lost. We're going to go watch The Hunt for Red October, all these James Bond movies. We got to go make a movie, watch some vampire stuff.
And don't forget Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible. I got to go do that. Yeah.
I'm going to make I'm going to make the least homoerotic vampire on a submarine movie possible. People are like, ooh, great. This is going to be laden with lots of undercurrents, no pun intended, of, gay love. I say, no.
Nope.
It's straight down the middle. I'm just saying there's a vampire in a submarine. Not that I'm against metaphor in this way.
But
or gay
none.
love. Okay.
But there's none of it.
I just don't feel that's my story to tell. My story to tell is about a vampire on a submarine. He drives a truck too. What if a vampire drive a truck? That's the sequel. I got other pitches too. A straight vampire that drives a truck. Okay. What are you talking about? Unable to reach the surface in time, Saeed attempts to defuse the bomb. However, Jack tells Sawyer to let the timer reach 0, believing that nothing will happen. He's the real nothing ever happens strongest soldier of 2007.
Yeah, very cool.
Would you look at the time?
It did take me a long time to understand what he was talking about. I mean, I understood it in the moment, but I would be pissed if I was like a fellow traveler.
Yeah. Yeah.
a fellow sailor of his. And he's taken 45 seconds to explain this very roundabout thing. But whatever. It was a good payoff. I was like, it does make sense.
Kill us. It does kind of make sense. He's opened his third eye. Now, like,
yeah.
It's good character care dev, as they say.
Yeah.
And they don't say that, but I think it's good for him to still also be like kind of annoying about it too. Like, it's not suddenly that he's like locked in and like, okay, you know what, we have to hand it to him, but he's still like, no, they're not gonna hurt us. And I don't know, just like he's still Jack. He believes that nothing will happen to them because the Man in Black cannot kill them himself. Jack theorizes that the Man in Black united the candidates because he needed them all dead in order to leave the island, and is trying to trick them into killing one another by mistrusting them or mistrusting each other. A very intense scene. Very intense.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Well done. Unconvinced, Sawyer pulls the bomb's wires, causing the speed of its countdown to accelerate. I hate to have to hand it to Jack over Sawyer. I'm a big Sawyer supporter, but he was wrong in this instance. And yeah, bombs countdowns love to accelerate.
Yeah. Seems difficult. Seems like a little extra feature. Like working in software, seems like a little extra feature that your PM would be like, oh, and what if we did this cute little thing where they pull the thing out? Like, how about no? How about we just do it the regular way?
If we just blow it up right away.
Because that's a lot of extra work, my dude. I know that you think it's cute, but it's a lot of extra work.
Users will see it once. Users will see it one time. They'll only ever experience that feature one time. Why ship it? It's good now.
There's a good chance our user base isn't going to touch it ever. They'll never see it.
They'll never see it.
They might never see it. And if you like it, why
You're
don't
just
we do it
adding more things that could cause more problems.
You got to reduce the scope to get to our MVP on this bomb.
What's the multiplier?
That's me, the PMC IRA bomb specialist.
Yeah. And what's the multiplier? Are we having a countdown at 2x or 3x? What's like more dramatic? Should we beta test? Should we what do the personas inform us that like, oh, it turns out that beach survivors tend to respond best to when the countdown is at 3x normal speed. Is that what you want us to be doing here? Or could we just ship the damn thing, go home?
Isn't the whole point of using the watch that we're using the built-in functionality of, the timer part to like make the bomb, do the bomb
And
thing?
not only are you accelerating the actual countdown, you're accelerating like the display readout of the watch as well. So
Yeah.
like like you need to like therefore like everything about this watch is built on this like consistent constant
Tick,
mechanism,
tick.
digital or mechanical, but like it's this constant thing. And then we're gonna like okay, yeah, just add times by 3 in there if unplug wires. No, we can't be doing that.
No, none of this.
I'm sorry, I'm sticking to my guns on this. Ship it. Not working through the weekend on this for damn sure.
Nope.
Anyway, countdown is accelerating. And anyway, so this Man in Black was like, he got his little Raspberry Pi out to like plug into the C4, I guess,
Yeah.
type shit. But yeah, Sawyer pulls out the bomb's wires, causing the speed of its countdown to accelerate. Sayid sees what's happening. He tells Jack where to find Desmond Hume. Not well, apparently he didn't kill him. And he runs to the back of the sub with the bomb. He takes it to the end zone. Takes it to the house, baby.
I gotta say, not a bomb guy, but why are people never throwing bombs? Why don't you just throw it? Why do you gotta like Heisman Trophy, Heisman mode, run it into the end zone, which is what Sayid does. How about you run, but then throw it? I think they say it's like a grenade. You jump on the grenade. But
I think that what my lukewarm defense of it was going to be.
But it's still like it doesn't blow up the whole thing. And I think he could have told. I think he might have known. I think you got to throw it.
Here's the thing. I think you toss it in a closet and close the door and like run away from it.
Yeah, you're in a device that's built with a lot of strong doors for isolating,
like redundancies
things.
And stuff.
Maybe you just throw it through the next room, shut the door.
Yeah.
If I was in if I was making the Hurt Locker, the movie The Hurt Locker, or doing the real life thing,
you did, by the way, right?
I did. I was her. People don't like that. They say it's taking away honor from one of the most famous women directors, but it was me.
I like to say that you're taking the heat for the military propaganda that you were saying and say.
Yep, I was taking the heat for everybody. Yeah.
Yep.
If I was making the Hurt Locker, if I was the real life thing,
yeah,
I'd be getting college quarterbacks in there. I'd be airdropping college quarterbacks and put them in those big ass suits that they wear, and then they'd be picking up bombs and chucking them towards the end zone. That's how everybody's getting out of there alive today.
Well, there was that really good scene in Da 5 Bloods, where Jonathan Majors is the college athlete. They get he's standing on the detonator and they get the rope around his waist, and they like pull on him.
Yes,
I know that there are like worse things. Okay, Jonathan, it's a shame. What am I trying to say? Jonathan Majors seemed like he was about to be a real star, and it's a shame that he did what he did, and he should. And there are worse things than him not being a star. It's the lack of Jonathan Majors content is not the worst thing that happened.
Sure,
but one of the things that happens is that we don't get to see the guy in movies.
Sure,
and for good reason. What's my point? What am I talking about? But no, yeah, throwing the bomb. Throw the bomb.
Throw the bomb. Shut the door.
Throw the bomb. Shut the door.
You got enough time.
I think you do. Give it a shot. Although, here's the thing. I do think...
Wait, why can't you just, the thing's going down fast. How about you just unplug the C4?
Unplug the whole
well,
C4?
we've already gone this far. Unplug the rest of it.
There's no way that doesn't work. I'm
But
sorry.
didn't
I know that
he
there's
did
like
unplug the C4, didn't he? Basically,
yeah,
that's what
I
he took
guess.
the
But like
things out
just
of.
yeah, take the detonator away from the C4. Don't tell me that there's like a there's a built-in like fail-safe switch. Like I think
No.
they would say that there is, but nuh-uh. I bet nuh-uh.
We're doctors. We know
We're
what we're
doctors
talking
and
about.
bomb
I made the
experts.
movie The Hurt Locker.
They call me Dr. Hurt Locker because of my past accomplishments. I'll say this about Saeed though. I think there's maybe a little bit of the good part of him taking over in this moment, as like maybe there was a way for everyone to get out alive, but he saw this as like an opportunity for redemption, and he wanted one final good act, and he kind of wanted it to be like, let this be the last entry in my moral ledger here.
Sure.
I will control that it will be a noble act rather than one that is sinful, and he's able to control that one last piece.
Let me
of the
ask
puzzle.
you a serious question about this. Serious meta question.
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask it carefully. Well, I probably won't, but just I'm on the inside. I'm trying to ask it carefully. But it's serious. Is it a little weird? Was it a little weird at this time with Saeed and the character that he has, and this time in the real world where this is coming out? Is it weird? Is it a little, for one, there is a better word. I just can't think of it. Want of a better word. Is it a little, like stereotypical to make Saeed do this? You know, this is not a good time in terms of racism related to Middle Eastern people
Yeah.
in America.
To have
A
Saeed Jarrah be the guy blowing himself up with a bomb.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, he not in the same way, but I saw that. I was like, that's a little. People would question that now. I think.
I think so. And I think that like. Okay, so there's one part of it that's like, okay, the character every season, Saeed has one like thing near the finale where he like defuses something or like handles something like technical to in this type of way. Like he like, or it not necessarily defuses, but like he like it makes he connects the communication system back online. He has like the technical expertise. He knows electronics kind of thing. That's his thing. And so it's true to his character to say that for him to be saying like, okay, you actually need to do this with the electronics. So it's not that like, it's not him knowing about bombs. It's him knowing about electronics. And I know that's not your question, that what you're getting at, but is it, you know, coded or charged to have his character blow himself up? Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess he's not the first guy in the show to blow himself up, to be fair, now that I think about it. But yeah, this was a bomb. There's a lot of people doing it with like dynamite and stuff like that. But when I saw it, I was like, there's a little part of me that was like,
have any, okay. Yeah. You know, okay, I was gonna say, are there any white people who've blown themselves up? But like, yeah,
with
arsed,
a bomb, arsed.
definitely. With the dynamite.
I mean, there's other dynamite that's blown up that I can't think of.
All the C4 on the freighter got blown up. Like, Harold Perrineau died. Or Michael died in that. Maybe Jin. We thought Jin died.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now that we've figured out whether or not it was racist, the bomb detonates, killing Saeed, and causes an explosion that floods the sub. Frank is knocked out by a door as it gives way to the water. Sun is pinned down by fragments of the submarine. Hurley exits the sub with a wounded Kate while Jin, Sawyer, and Jack try to help Sun. Wait. Does Frank escape? He's
Actually,
knocked out by the door.
I don't quite remember this either.
I don't think he does. Okay. Maybe he does. So wait. Hurley exits with Kate.
Verified.
Yes. Jin, Sawyer, and Jack try to help Sun.
Yes.
Sawyer's knocked unconscious. Jack leaves the Sawyer. Jin convinces Jack to leave the Sawyer.
Yeah.
And so with the only remaining people left in there are Sun and Jin.
Yeah.
We don't see any cutaways to Frank. Although I think Frank gets out.
Yeah. Well, I thought so too, which is why I said what I said earlier, since he's not part of the next episode.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons. But yeah, now I'm doubting myself too.
He's not mentioned in the rest of the summary.
I think it
Let's
would
put
have. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
Because obviously, okay, so if we lost Frank or not, it's overshadowed by what does happen, who we do lose. Jin continues to try to free Sun despite her pleas for him to go. He tells Sun that he will not leave her. They then embrace as the water floods the submarine, and they both drown. Sun and Jin die. They drown in the submarine. We get their theme. It's pretty clear this is meant to be a true death for the two characters. They're speaking English to each other.
Yeah.
And
I thought that was a little strange. I mean, they speak Korean and English to each other, but I thought that was a little strange. They're like final words in English.
And I think that's intentional. I wrote that down too. It was like, feels a little weird. But then I remember, Jin learned English to show his love and commitment to Sun.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I can see why they chose to have their final words be in English to echo that like commitment to her as he's dying with her.
That's true. Lost.
How do you feel about the deaths?
You've saved.
Of Jin and Sun?
You've been. It's okay. You've been approved by the white guy cultural
Once
appreciation.
Again, I think you're safe on this one too.
You're safe on this one.
Yeah.
Sad. Because I've been a Jin and Sun head since the beginning. I maintain that Sun is the all-time best babysitter material on the island. With all the
best babysitter material
respect. Well, if you've been listening to our show, you know that's been a debate since the beginning, even though it might not have been a debate among anybody else in the Lost community.
See, this is why we can bring fresh perspectives.
Bring fresh perspective. I think Sun would be a better babysitter than Locke. Still do.
Okay, I'll let you have this for this episode because she
and
dies.
So I'm just
not so good of a babysitter now, is she? Because she's dead.
But
I guess so was Locke. So she lasted longer than Locke.
She lasted longer than Locke. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen all the Halloween movies, but I assume Jamie Lee Curtis probably dies, and maybe she actually probably doesn't die. She probably doesn't die in any of them. There's a ton of them.
No idea.
She might die in one of them. She's an all-time babysitter as well. I put Sun up there. Okay. I like Jin and Sun. Sad to see him go.
Yeah. Do you think that do you think that their send-off was worth it? Like they were held apart for so long. They were given not much to do other than like try to reunite.
Yeah.
And then they do, and then they die together. They sort of like, they have like a brief conversation about like, yeah, I saw pictures of our daughter. She's beautiful. And that's kind of it that they get to have.
I think it's okay. I think it's some of that's enough, That can be enough. That can be enough.
There's a lot to do. There's a lot to do here at the end of the show.
Your relationship is enough, yeah, for me. I don't want to give away my I have a more to that answer, which I will say at the end of this episode, which is at the end of the next episode.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Jack, Sawyer, Kate, and Hurley regroup at a nearby beach and mourn the deaths of Saeed, Sun, and Jin. At the docks, the Man in Black leaves Claire to finish what he started. Jack goes out into the surf and cries. Hurley cries. We get some like open weeping. People. The deaths of 3 main cast members. Saeed, Sun, and Jin. Tough ending. For Sun and Jin especially. I feel like Saeed's end has been like coming the whole season. Like we've had sort of like enough time to sort of like we've seen like him struggle with his you know, if he's going to be good, if he's going to be bad. He's died and come back already. And so it's not that I'd be like, oh, whatever about him, but just sort of like, it feels like it's been given enough like airtime and attention in the season to feel like, okay, the death of Saeed feels consequential and but Sun and Jin both dying. I mean, I think,
to be honest, it's kind of, I agree with you on the Saeed thing. It's almost like a Charlie situation, who I know you weren't a fan of his character, but Charlie got a lot of time. He got a lot of reflecting. We had a lot of time to think about him leading up to his death as well. And that's, not the case for Sun and Jin at all, really.
Yeah. So I think that's why I feel a little like not necessarily ready to be like, you know what? It's sad, but I feel like it's cathartic, and it's not maybe like a B-, like handling of it. Not like I'm not too upset about it, but like Anyway, I'm gonna give this episode a 4.
Oh, I'll give this one a 5.
Season 6, episode 15, Across the Sea. This aired May 11th, 2010. It was directed by Tucker Gates and written by Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof. This, Ben, is considered, apparently, either one of the best or one of the worst episodes of the series.
Interesting.
This is an origin story for the Man in Black and Jacob. Let's get into it. Washed ashore on the island, a pregnant woman in a red dress named Claudia encounters an unnamed woman. We may recognize this unnamed woman as Allison Janney, the actress.
Yeah.
Okay. As herself.
As herself, yeah.
Yeah. Allison Janney helps Claudia give birth to her son, who Claudia names Jacob. Another boy is unexpectedly born and unnamed. Leftovers fans will remember a parallel to the episode where a woman from centuries earlier of the other events of the show wanders in the wilderness and eventually gives birth in what becomes Jarden, Texas. Then the woman kills Claudia, bashes her dang head in.
Damn.
And she raises the twins as her own, never naming the other one.
Major oversight.
Whoops.
Yeah.
But I think that's interesting.
Only had one name.
Mm-hmm. Keeping them ignorant of the outside world. She teaches them to be distrustful of humanity, which she regards as corrupt and dangerous. This is a very fablistic episode.
Yeah.
That's a word.
100%.
At age 13, Jacob's brother, the future Man in Black, the boy in black, you might say, finds a Senate game.
Man-child in black.
Man-child in black. He finds a Senate game. And then, do you know about Senate? I thought it was like going to be like Go.
No. I thought they were just making up their own thing. No, not at all.
It's a board game from ancient Egypt that consists of 10 or more pawns and a 30-square playing board. Wow, the earliest representation of Senate is dated to circa 2620 BCE. That's old. Even though the game has a 2,000-year history in Egypt, there appears to be very little variation in terms of key components. All right, I won't get like too farther into it, but like it's just interesting that it's Egyptian. Jacob asks about the box, and his brother asks him to keep it secret, but the woman, who they call Mother, sees through Jacob. She confronts the man-child in black and claims that she left the box for him, telling the young boy that he is special. The boy in black seems to be capable of deception, unlike Jacob. You may recall that John Locke was special, but bad at lying. Interesting. Echo there, maybe. Yeah. Mother is deceitful. I don't know if we can trust her. There's a sea turtle on the beach during their conversation. We don't see sea turtles otherwise. Got the first turtle sighting. Interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
This has got a stray observation. When the man-child in black persists in asking about their origins, Mother explains that she came from her own mother, who is now dead, adding that the boys will never need to worry about death. So, she'd be lying, though. She lies. Is that really where she came from? Not important necessarily, but keep it in mind, I guess. After following aboard, Jacob and his brother discover other people on the island. Hunters. Mother warns the brothers to avoid the other people. She reluctantly decides to show the brothers a tunnel filled with light in an underground stream. She claims that one of them will eventually be the protector and that she has made them incapable of harming each other. Mother explains that the light is highly coveted and warns that if the light goes out here, it goes out everywhere. This is, of course, contrary to her story that the island is itself everything. She's the manipulator. Kind of goofy looking light cave, I'll say.
Oh, really? I thought it looked okay.
I love the concept.
Okay, light cave.
Okay. It looked a little early video gamey. I don't know. I don't know why.
Oh, interesting. Maybe they got the remastered one again. I feel like we've had differing opinions on a lot of the
VFX?
CG, type stuff. The submarine and whatnot.
Yeah, whatever. I don't. You know what? I don't mean to be harsh on it. It's fine. It conveyed what it needed to. I'm just trying to think. Other famous caves in light. Plato's situation.
Yep.
What did she say about why it needs to be protected? That the light, the people are going to try to harness the light, and it'll go out. It goes out here. It'll go out everywhere.
Yep.
There'll be some source of energy. Is it supposed to be goodness? Is it supposed to be holiness? Is it the origin of everything? Not sure. A vision of Claudia appears to the young man in black. So this is the other reason that he is special. In addition to his ability to lie, he does seem to be able to communicate with the dead. Much like another character we might meet centuries later. She reveals herself as their birth mother and claims the other people came to the island with her. The young man in black confronts Mother about Claudia's claims and attempts to convince Jacob to join the other people with him. However, Jacob refuses and stays with Mother. Over the course of the next 30 years, Jacob transforms into Mark Pellegrino, and the young man in black transforms into Titus Welliver, aka Bosch. And they visit each other occasionally, playing the game of Senate. The man in black shares the camp with those other people. Jacob stays with Mother. The man in black reveals that they have discovered a way to leave the island by digging wells in spots where metal behaves strangely. shows that his dagger sticks to the well. Jacob declines his invitation to leave. When Mother hears of what the Man in Black is doing, she visits him and learns he and the others have constructed a wheel in a well. He tells her that his people have dug into the light from other locations on the island and plan to create a system that will allow them to leave. Upon hearing this, she knocks the Man in Black unconscious. I wasn't taking a lot of notes this episode, but I did write down here, more like Bashlock, because she damn knocked into his head.
Bashes his head, yeah.
When he awakens, he discovers the people in the camp massacred and the well completely filled in. Mother is doing some nasty work up there. Meanwhile, Mother shows Jacob the tunnel of light again, explaining that Jacob is to succeed her in guarding it. She tells Jacob never to enter the tunnel, warning of a fate worse than death. Jacob reluctantly drinks a wine that Mother pours, making him the new protector. Tonight, we let the mysterious beaker speak.
Yep.
Take this cup and drink from it. Sound familiar, Ben? Interesting. Enraged by her actions, the Man in Black stabs Mother and asks why she would not let him leave the island. She replies that she loves him and dies, and thanks him. I think that's important to mention. The summary doesn't say that, but I think she thanks him in her death to sort of relieve her of this duty, either self-assigned or otherwise.
Yeah.
Jacob retaliates by attacking his brother and throwing him into the tunnel of light. He got pushed into the cave that turns into the damn smoke monster.
Yep. It's a very goofy little shot when he gets pushed into the cave. Just kind of funny. Just
lazy river.
Lazy river, yeah. Really quickly flows down. Yeah. Face down.
So the fate worse than death is that you get turned into the smoke monster.
Smoke monster. I guess so.
I wonder why.
Something else, maybe?
It's going to be one of those things that, like, oh, you die every time you turn into the smoke monster. This is the only time that we see the Man in Black's original form. The only episode. Obviously, we see Titus Welliver in other episodes, but those are when Smokey has taken... He's already died after that. Like, the original form has already died.
Sure.
That makes sense. So, because we see the Man in Black's physical body is lying there, and is he places it with Mother's in the cave where she lived, along with a pouch containing the black and white stones that they used in the game.
Mm-hmm. They show a little flashback, in case you're like me and also forgot exactly.
You forgot about this?
No, I didn't. Like, made sense. I mean, they show it right away too, but just a little reminder.
I could tell
all the way back to the very beginning.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to. How self-congratulatory I need to be? It's probably pretty telegraphed where this is headed. But I think that, like, at Mother's camp, I want to commend the production design for making identifiable locations in, like, a jungle set type stuff, because I remember saying to Zoe, like, hey, this looks like where the Adam and Eve bodies were.
Interesting.
And that is
true.
Indeed what it is. The corpses and stones are found centuries later by Jack and Kate and dubbed Adam and Eve by John Locke. It's Adam and Eve, not brother and mother. Gang. I remember you insisting that I shouldn't look up Jacob and Rachel's biblical relationship. Did I miss something about that?
I don't remember what I was thinking back then. Maybe a little misdirection. You're definitely not going to want to read the Bible before you watch Lost.
That's why I've held off. Oh man. So yeah, this is a very. I mean, I like a one-off episode, especially towards the end of something. I can imagine fans being infuriated by this episode.
Yeah.
I mean, I get okay for one thing. It sort of seems like it might provide a lot of answers if it actually does, and it does give an origin story. I think that. I don't know. Never mind. I can see what
I agree with what you're saying. I agree with you. It's nice to have a little one-off thing near the end, you know?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. I think it's fun to do like a big like, all right, we're gonna set things up to like seem like we're about to pay them off in the next episode. We're just gonna go do something hundreds of years
Completely
earlier.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if you're, you're working your job at the, magnet factory headquarters or whatever in 2010, and you come home and turn on the TV to watch Lost, and you see these bozo kids walking around, and you're pissed. You're like, I worked all week so I could come home and see Hurley and Jack. Give me Hurley and Jack.
And so we also, I guess this episode also tells us like what, we see sometimes there's a little boy hanging out that reminds the man in black that he can't be killing people. And it's Jacob, right? Or is that the man in black? Who's the little boy?
Oh, actually,
I remember him being in like light clothing, so I think it's Jacob.
Yeah, I think you're right. But dirty, so I don't know. But I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah. Wait. Oh, but he speaks to dead people. Oh, Jacob died. Duh. Okay. But like not as a kid though.
Sure.
Or maybe he did, and like Jacob took his form. I don't know. I think that this is an episode that will grow on me. Right now, like right after watching, I was like, I don't know. 3. And now I'm saying 4 after talking through it a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, this is a 4 for me. I like it quite a bit. It's not as high as the last episode, but I really liked all the stuff we watched this week, and that was part of it. I like both things that we watched, and this is one of the both, so therefore I like this.
If there's anything you can say about the episodes that we watched this week, it's that we watched them this week. And with that, that's the kind of analysis that Lost on Ice can bring to you. That's going to be it for the show today. If you like what you heard and want to hear more, consider joining our Patreon at patreon.com/drskeleton. Every week, Ben and I release a bonus hangout show. Get into the stuff that's simply too hot for the main feed. Comment down below. What did we miss this episode? Are there other... Comment down below, did Frank die in the submarine?
Let us know.
Hopefully we'll be able to...
What do we need to know going into the last couple episodes of Lost?
Yeah.
Just treat us as if we hadn't watched any of the show.
Explain the show to us in the comments. What's going on with this? What's happening here? So yeah, next week, watch the rest of the show. Watch the end of season 6 of Lost. So that should be one more hour-long episode and then the 2-part finale. And I guess maybe I assume that means 3 hours total. I'm not sure though. Maybe it could be 4. And with that, thanks for listening. Goodbye.